Warning, this podcast contains spoilers. What's up, everyone, and welcome to the ASOTV podcast for the original Season 2, Episode 7, Chasing the Devil's Tail. I'm your host, Dom. With me is my co-host, Omikins.
Hey.
How's it going?
It's alright.
It's alright. Mm-hmm. What'd you think of this episode?
It was alright. I mean, they threw a lot of twist at you.
It's alright.
It was alright. It's alright.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, very interesting. The Klaus murdering his father.
Yeah, I was actually thinking that his father would be around a little bit longer
Than 2 episodes.
Yeah, kind of hoping he would be.
Yeah.
Just to see a little bit more backstory, because I think there's more there. But,
Ansel was definitely an interesting character. I feel like we didn't get the time to get to know him. I hope this isn't the last of him, but unfortunately, it seemed like it kind of was. We saw Esther bawling her eyes out at the end.
Yeah, flipping shit.
Yeah.
She got mad. Super duper.
Yeah. But I mean, I guess he kind of had to go with the knowledge of Hope being alive.
Yeah.
That was like the worst thing you could have possibly told Klaus. And for someone who has supposedly been watching Klaus for the last...
Yeah, he should have known.
Many centuries? Was it 700? Thousands of years? I don't even know. At least 1,000 years.
A long time.
Yeah. You should have known that that's probably the one thing you don't want to tell Klaus. I don't even think he thought he was going to die.
I think he thought he was getting somewhere with Klaus and that Klaus wouldn't turn around and kill him.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I know you won't kill me. And Klaus is like, well, that's the first lie you've told me. So, yeah. Rest in peace, Ansel. I hope to at least see you in some flashbacks.
Yeah. I mean, they have like the character casted now. They can obviously bring him back in flashbacks now.
Yeah. The whole reason why the bonding moment even took place is because Klaus was looking for an orchid to help his brother Elijah out, who is trapped in dream spell that his mother had done to his unbirthed father for many, many times before, and it just so happens that this particular orchid grows in the swamps, and everything is a little too convenient. But,
yeah, kinda.
Yeah, but the look on Elijah's face when Klaus is like, oh, by the way, when you were sleeping, I met my father, my birth father, and then I killed him. And Elijah just has this look like, well, I don't know what to tell you.
Well, he did kind of clarify that. Oh, he knew about Hope, and then he kind of was like, oh, you killed for Hope.
Right.
Okay, I understand now.
A little more relief at that point.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Furthermore, though, to foil Esther's plans, other than waking Elijah and killing his birth father, the other kind of group, what was it? It was Cammy, Haley, Marcel, Josh, and Aiden. They all kind of bonded together to mastermind this plan, almost like what was that movie? Ocean's 11. It's kind of like an Ocean's 11 kind of caper, this extreme plot to capture Finn, and it like require everybody's like super secret specialties to get this done, and it's kind of cool.
I mean, at one point, I thought that Finn had the upper hand.
I did too.
I was like, oh, he's totally gonna get away from this one. He's gonna get away again. Mm-hmm. But they got him.
They did. I mean, they staged the werewolf attack on Cammy. Right? They had Haley jumping around, attacking, glowing eyes under this hoodie. It was pretty badass. I wish the werewolves looked like that a little more often.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah. Then they lured him back to the church, this famous church that we will never see the end of. This church is not going anywhere anytime soon. And then what was it? Vincent attacks Aiden?
Yeah, I mean, they weren't meant to be in the church. They were actually meant to be in an alleyway or like a back pathway around the cemetery. And, Finn kind of figured it out and ended up, tossing Aiden around in the church when he walked in, just to be like, Cammy, where are you? But
yeah, and then Haley got involved. Haley almost died, and if it wasn't for Jackson saving the day, like the Green Arrow over here, shooting a bow from the balcony. Mm-hmm. Another CW show, The Arrow. Oh, yeah. Cleo will love me for that reference. But, yeah. It was kind of like all mastermind together, and then was it Cammy that slapped the shackles on, or was that Marcel? I don't even remember.
I think it was a team effort.
I don't remember who slapped the shackles on. What was Marcel's role in all this? I know he's like planning it out with them. He was just the strategist?
No, actually him and Gia were posted outside the hall that they were at. Mm-hmm. And they were listening in.
Yes.
For their cue.
Yep, that's right.
What they were doing.
That is right. But in the meantime, while all this is going on, we have Cole and Davina off on this little trip together, and they start masterminding, or Cole reveals this plan of how he wants to change the dagger into another material, because
he wants it to act kind of like the White Oak stake, but not kill Klaus.
Right, he wants to temporarily paralyze him like he was all this time.
Yeah.
But to do so, what is it? It's the silver that in the dagger that malfunctions it because of Klaus, or?
I don't know, because if it was silver, it would still kind of be a detriment to him.
I thought silver didn't do anything to werewolves. I'm so confused now, because I remember in season 2.
That's right. They tried to silver Tyler's uncle.
Yeah, and he's just like...
And he was like...
He was avoiding it to just mess with them, and then later on he just like picked up the silverware and just started using it. And they're like, what? So I don't understand the whole silver reference that... Because he specifically mentioned silver and that he would have to change the compound of it.
I don't know. I don't know, actually. I mean, he obviously knows what he's got to do.
Right.
But it's interesting that, he's actively trying to not kill Klaus. Mm-hmm. And he wants to help Davina out. He wants to free her friends from this connection with the curse of that blood.
Yeah. So then he kind of starts revealing to Davina, like, his mother's plan, and all this. He's telling her everything. Mm-hmm. Davina's, like, getting mad, and they go on that little road trip or whatever, and he's playing with the radio, and Davina's like, I can't believe your mother sent you here to flirt with me. And he goes, no. The flirting's all me.
Yeah.
And you could see, like, that totally changed her attitude towards him at that point. There's a lot more flirting coming back from her end.
She was a little bit more receptive to what he had going towards her.
Yeah, and Cole basically revealed he's genuinely into her, and it was seeing Cole be like this
nice guy.
Not really this nice guy, but I mean, like, previously seeing Cole as like this cocky asshole kind of guy.
Yeah.
And now he's like sitting here flirting with
He's
Davina.
Trying to be suave.
Yeah, it's kind of refreshing to see this, the character change it up a little bit. But just after they kind of smooth everything in, that's when Marcel comes in and he kidnaps Cole.
Yeah.
And Davina wakes up. Cole's missing. The White Oak stake is missing.
Yeah.
So now she's left to assume that Cole ran off with the White Oak stake.
Yeah, to think he lied to her and he did all this. Yeah. She's going to feel betrayed again.
She is, but it's
Marcel's fault. She feels betrayed all the freaking time.
Marcel's like the one person that she could look up to, and Marcel's like, he's intentionally doing this, I think, to frame Cole.
No, he's playing a daddy role here.
He is.
He's like he didn't think anything that they were getting. He wanted to protect her. He wants to say, no, you can't be with him because I said so because he's a bad guy.
Yeah.
You better listen to me.
Yeah. I feel bad for Davina. Every time she gets an inch, like, gets ripped out from under her.
Yeah. She, apparently she's not allowed to like anybody at this point.
No,
No.
absolutely not. Her boyfriend was killed last season. Or was it the beginning of this season?
The violinist.
Yeah, it was the end of last season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and now Cole's getting a little too close, and bad things happen to people tied to Davina.
Bad things happen in New Orleans, apparently.
Yeah,
just in
too.
general. In general,
I mean,
it's
look what happened to Oliver last episode, you know? Then his funeral was a little pathetic.
yeah. Jackson was so pissed.
I mean, who sets a funeral at dawn?
Werewolves do, apparently. It's tradition.
Apparently. Oh, okay.
It's tradition.
Tradition that no one showed up for. If
I
anything,
think that's more or less
you should have the funeral at the full moon. That seems like a better tradition to me.
What if they died 3 weeks prior to that full moon? That would be a messy, stinky full moon.
Formaldehyde.
Formaldehyde stinks too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that would actually cost money.
Yeah.
I mean, unless they wouldn't, they'd also have to have
Float
the
them
right.
out to sea on a casket, and then you just rig it to burn on the full moon. You have all the wolves around howling. It would be amazing. Yeah, you just got that lovely image of the wolves howling at a funeral. It'd be great.
No. No.
No.
No. It's a bad idea.
Yeah. Outside of those 3 big things, I don't think very much happened this episode.
Not really. I mean, we can speculate what they're gonna do with Finn and Cole, but I mean, I hope they kill Finn off. I mean,
Yeah, I've never liked Finn.
I was not a Cole fan. I was totally never a Cole fan.
What?
And then, I've kind of warmed up to him ever since he's been mortal. He's less of an asshole.
You gotta remember that these guys were all witches beforehand. And
Yeah. He was the only one who actually had any power, which is what he said.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And he's kept, like, practicing. Like, he's kept all these magic items, and, he's basically had this secret lab this whole time.
he's tried to keep up what he had, even though he couldn't practice it like physically. He made sure he kept himself in that world so that he never lost it.
Mm-hmm.
Which is very, very, very clever of him because that gives him a leg up here. And I think with Davina, him and Davina are gonna be a problem for Esther.
For sure.
For sure.
But do you see why now all this time that, like, I've been going nuts over Cole? Like, I've gotten wind of this early. Like, this is what I knew from Cole. Cole was this little conniving badass.
No,
this whole time.
I'm liking the whole suave, and he's actually caring, and he does have he's still badass. He's still
he's
but there's more
Damon.
depth. There's more depth to him now. Yeah, he's not a Damon. He's definitely not a Damon.
What do you mean? Damon's got depth to him.
I didn't say he didn't. I just said that Cole, he now has depth, and before he was just a rip and tear and I'm a vampire asshole. He was definitely
still had this little suaveness about him. It was very subtle, but it was there.
Arrogance. That's what that was. Complete and utter arrogance, and I did not like him one bit.
I mean, in the Vampire Diaries, he had a hint of this. At the beginning of this show, you're right. But when we first met him in the Vampire Diaries, he did have this suave kind of quality to him. And then he was killed off, and we're like, oh. Well, I was like, oh.
I don't know.
He's the one that I didn't want to die out of all of them. I wouldn't have cared. I could care less about. I mean, Elijah's nice and all, whatever. He's interesting, but I could do without Elijah.
No,
Elijah's too goody-goody for me.
That's why you need him around, because when he's not goody-goody, he's fucking terrifying.
This is true. I do like that dark side of him.
Yes.
That's my favorite part of Elijah, is his dark side. But when he's all goody-goody, no, I've had enough.
It's needed. It's needed because Klaus is always angry. He's always bad. You need the good. You need the yin-yang effect. Yeah. The yin-yang? Yin?
Well, the other thing that I remembered, because we were starting to talk about like the Vampire Diaries and when these characters are first introduced, but Klaus himself, much like his mother and his two brothers are doing now, is when Klaus was first introduced, he was body jumping all over the place. Right? He went from Alaric to somebody else to he was everywhere. So like this is a trait that's like in the Mikealson family.
Yeah. I don't think he realized that was one of his mother's specialties.
Yeah, I don't either, but
it's
definitely something he picked up.
Yeah, I mean, it was to, further his plans in Mystic Falls at that point, but I mean, and he had his little lackey witches do it for him, so, I don't know.
But, I guess the only big question to ask out of this now is, after last week, not even this week, but after last week, and we saw Michael run off. We didn't get hide nor hair of him this episode. What?
No.
What do you think he's up to?
He got bested, right? And then he had to run off.
Yeah.
I think he's trying to figure out how he can separate them all, because right now they are kind of running together as a group. And they're doing things together. And did he get wind of Esther, or he's still in the dark about that? I can't really remember.
Don't know for sure. I know he knows about Cole. So one could assume, with Cole back, that he's got to be aware that Esther's around.
I mean, if he knows that Esther's around, he might just wait for Esther.
Do you think he might be teaming up with Esther?
I don't think she would.
No?
I don't think she would.
That's what she kind of put him in place for in the first place, was to hunt down and kill all the other ones.
Then now
she'll kill him.
She wanted her kids gone.
Right.
She wanted them gone. Now she just wants them to be somebody else. She wants them to be in another body, and she wants to get rid of that vampire.
I think inevitably that's what she wanted for them in the first place, is because before, with Michael, he could go and kill them all, and that would put them on the other side, and then she could bring them back and put them into supernatural bodies. Which, now with the other side gone, Michael's purpose doesn't serve well, which is why now she is just trying to body jump them.
That's why I don't think she's going to work with him. I mean, also she wouldn't have brought Ansel back if, she knew that Michael was around. Because had Michael had known that she brought him back as well, Michael would have been flipping all over the place.
Yeah. Is it possible that she could have cast a body jump spell on Ansel?
Maybe. I mean, possibly. I don't think she expected him to die either. I think a lot of people thought that Klaus would, completely warm up to him and become soft.
She did seem rather upset when he died, so I think if he body jumped, I don't think she would be nearly as upset.
I don't know if it was, she would have been upset that he died, but it was more or less the way that Klaus kind of presented that his father was dead.
Yeah.
That kind of flipped her out and made her really creeped.
Yeah, it's basically, you can't control Klaus. Klaus is the wild card here.
He totally is.
Yeah. Anything else for this episode before I go into next week?
Not really. I mean, the dynamics are there. Maybe we can talk about how Finn... Wait! Cammy.
Yes.
She took hybrid blood to heal the wound.
Mm-hmm.
And then in her rage, because Klaus killed Ansel, Esther went after Cammy.
Ooh.
You remember that now, right?
I do.
Very end scene. So, is Cammy dead? Is she gonna be a vampire like you said she was going to?
Maybe.
I mean, but she took hybrid blood. Would that make her a hybrid?
I don't know how the hybrid works. I don't think it works that way. I think it has to be from a werewolf. I think you have to have the werewolf gene or something, and the Hope was a little bit different because it was birthed from a werewolf, so. That's a good question. It's a good question.
I don't know if Esther's gonna actually kill her, but, just take her hostage like she's been doing with all the other people. That's obviously the best plan she's got. The only one,
Well, maybe we'll find out. Maybe we'll find out in the synopsis here. Next week, The Brothers That Care Forgot is the name of the episode. And guest star Claire Holt returns as Rebecca Mikealson. So Rebecca, who has spent months away living a normal life with baby Hope, finds herself on the run when she realizes Esther has uncovered her whereabouts. Now, she's on the run from Esther. Esther can't be in two places at the same time. So she's got to send a lackey. Who could she possibly have sent? Michael?
I don't think so. I really don't think Esther and Michael have made any connections up until, maybe during this episode, maybe. But I don't think Esther would work with Michael, because Michael's freaking whole plan is just to kill them. And there's no other side, so she can't retrieve Rebecca's freaking soul if that's how she's gonna do it.
Right.
So, I don't know.
There is Henrik. Don't forget about Henrik.
But this was before the curse, before they were... Oh no, he'd be a witch. So he would have been on the other side.
He died, yeah, he would have been on the other side as a witch. So Henrik, which is the only remaining Mikealson...
That can help.
That can help her outside of...
Freya. Which we will be seeing something of soon, I'm pretty damn sure, because Dahlia is going to be coming into this picture. We know this for a fact.
Right. So, I'm thinking Henrik, if I had to make a guess.
I don't know.
If not, she could assume that it's Esther, but it's really Dahlia. She might think it's Esther.
That's true.
But I don't know. Anyway, convinced that Vincent has uncovered her whereabouts.
Convinced that
Vincent and Caleb would be powerful allies in this fight to take down Esther, Klaus sets a plan in motion to turn his brothers against their mother.
That's not going to happen with Finn. Maybe Cole, though.
No, yeah, definitely not happening with Finn. Cole, maybe, but he also wants his revenge on Klaus, so I don't really see that happening either. Meanwhile, Haley is conflicted when she and Jackson stumble upon an ancient ritual that would get their werewolf packs out from under Esther's control, but would require her to make a tremendous sacrifice.
A sacrifice?
Herself?
No. Wouldn't that be a fatal sacrifice? A tremendous sacrifice? It might be that she, I don't know. I don't think it'd be her. I think it'd be something that's close to her, something she loves.
Yeah. Elsewhere, Rebecca is concerned when she notices something is off with Elijah. It's good to know that Rebecca will be back in New Orleans as opposed to running around wherever she is. And finally, Davina takes matters into her own hands by turning to dark magic, and Cammy finds herself at the center of Esther's dangerous plans. So
Cammy's not dead. But it's obvious she's bait. 'Cause,
Yeah.
you know, that's all Esther knows how to do is use people as bait.
Davina going in for some dark magic that should add some interesting dynamic to her.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, she's pretty sassy right now. Just imagine some dark magic influence there.
Yep. Should be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's about it. You got anything else for us? Oh my goodness, where can the people find you?
They can find me on the Twitters at LadyVenom24, LadyYvenom24.
Excellent. You can find me down below at Phenomenon, PHENOMEDOM. You can also find us on Facebook, Gmail, G+. Facebook, Gmail, G+. Twitter, Case, and right here on YouTube, /ASOTV podcast for some more podcasts of some of your favorite cats. Favorite shows. Until next week.
Bye. Kitty. Kitty? Come here.
See you later.